Hi everyone, I'm Carla.
And I'm Lanes.
And together, we're the After Deck.
We chat about the latest Below Deck episodes each week.
Let's dive in, Lanes.
Can't wait.
Cheers, Lanes.
Cheers, Carla.
Jesus Christ, we just drove through a mega lightning storm to get here.
Yeah, we did.
That was hectic.
I was like, don't hit my car. Don't hit my car.
Yep. So tonight we're doing Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 5, Episode 1, Ibiza, baby. In this episode, we meet the crew, along with some so far delightful guests. Mm-hmm. The drama builds with crew tensions, and Chef gets tested first night off the blocks.
Doesn't he what?
Doesn't he fucking get a stitch up?
So like you said, we are in Ibiza. Have you ever been?
No, I haven't actually. Probably not my bag.
Yeah, it's not mine.
No.
I'm not going that far for a hangover.
You'll have more than a hangover.
Yeah, like.
No.
So Gary is the first mate and he is first on board and gets a big hug from Cap.
Yes, Glenn seems happy to see him.
Very happy.
Despite, well, here's the thing. I was going to say despite the history, but we don't know when all the shit allegations about Gary came out. Was this filmed before that came out? Did it come out halfway through filming? I'm going to have to check that out.
So we will need to figure that out because we'll see it like across this season.
Oh.
If those allegations come out mid-season, then you can't hide that.
Yeah.
So Daisy's next on and she's not looking forward to working with Gary.
No. Otherwise, she says she's super excited.
Yeah. Side note, I love an Irish accent.
So do I.
I just love it.
That's because it's, part of you.
But who wouldn't love an Irish accent?
Yeah, I'm with you. And Daisy's is quite nice.
It is.
They're all lyrical.
Yes.
Yeah, so she sort of says how last season Gary made her life difficult and he didn't respect her relationship with Colin, which we'll talk about. It's really frosty between these two.
Yeah.
It is awkward.
Yeah.
And next we have a new person.
The chef comes on and his name is Cloyce.
Ever heard it?
Never.
Me neither.
He says later in the show because someone was like, what was it? Or
I think Daisy tried to call him, I don't know, she called him I wanted to say Clarice. Like
Silence of the Lambs.
Yes.
But he said it's like Rolls Royce but with a C.
Rolls Cloyce.
So he's obviously had to explain his name all his life.
Yes. Like Joao. Wow with a je. Joao, remember?
And how long it took me to get it.
Yes.
He says his personality is an acquired taste.
But that is fucking delicious. Tickets.
We'll see.
He's got confidence coming out of his ear holes.
Yes.
And then we have Davide. How were you going to say his name, Lance?
David.
You're so Aussie.
I can't. Davide.
Davide.
David. Oh, this is the new wow for me.
Yes. It's all right. By the last episode, you will have got it. He's the engineer replacing the lovely sweetheart Colin.
Yes. He knows Gary.
He barely gets to say hi to Captain and his eyes are locked on Gary.
Yeah.
Knows him from all the parties.
All of them.
Every single one.
Even the ones he can't talk about.
Yeah.
I'm like, Diddy. David Diddy.
Happy with yourself?
Very.
Davide is a little concerned about bunking with Glenn. He's like, oh, fuck, really?
Probably because he wants to party and he's got to be in Cap's cabin.
Yeah, he's going to step on him. He's going to drop his water bottles on his head. Goes without saying. Next is Danny, the junior stew. She's South African but lives in Australia or has for the last 2 years. She's going to be our person we talk about a lot.
Yep.
Is my vibe.
I've already got opinions.
Great, okay.
And she does say that when she moved to Australia that we're the hottest people she's ever seen.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
Yeah, just the two that she's never seen.
Yes. And then we do have an Aussie. Keithy.
Well, he was born in America, grew up in Australia with British parents.
Yes.
Adventurous parents.
Oh, yes.
Breastfeeding anywhere parents.
On safari.
What is that about? Like, why would you say that?
It's an interesting backstory. Also, Dad not in the picture.
So, Deanna.
Yeah. We've got Davide, Danny, and Deanna, spelt like Diana, but pronounced Deanna. So get your fucking D's right.
Like, I'm going to struggle.
Now we cut to Daisy having a chat with Cloyce about his experience in the galley. And he says he's done 3 or 4 seasons of yachting. And he says we'll be fine, but let's just avoid taking individual orders if at all possible. And Daisy's like, yep, that's normal. That's what we normally do. Park for later. And he's 22.
Yeah.
He's a baby.
He's got a lot of experience behind him.
He does.
Oh, we've got another person come on.
Emma,
The
decky. What?
Green is all green.
She's a greenie.
After we've seen this episode.
Yes. All right, all the crew are meeting in the cockpit. And Glenn says, hi, everyone, welcome. He talks about this 95, 100% thing, which he says every season, Lanes.
Right, okay.
He's like, super yachting is more than 95. You got to keep striving for the extra 5 to 100.
Okay, good adding up, Glenn.
The guests are going to arrive tomorrow at 1. If you have a major problem, see me. Minor, tell your HOD, head of department. Daisy pipes up.
Well, he asked, does Daisy or what the fuck name?
Gary.
Daisy or Gary, do you have anything?
Oh, we forgot Daisy, also a D.
Daisy.
We've got 4 Ds.
I'm fine with Daisy.
And 2 Gs. Anyway, Daisy pipes up with a little jab to Gary and says, we need to work as a team without hostility. Interior do need help, and Gary and I need to communicate. This is because Gary and her over the seasons, he's always just been like, no, we need both stews, like telling her how he needs to use her department people.
Right. Because I was wondering why Gary had a smug smirk on his face the whole time.
And an eye roll.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
I was annoyed at Gary for that.
Yeah, that's his opportunity to say, yes, Daisy, let's clean slate, work fresh, not Gaza. And the last thing she says is stowing is everyone's job, which it should be.
Yes.
Without fail, shit smashes.
Yeah.
Every day.
So the meeting's over and Daisy and Gary do a tour of the boat with their department.
Yeah.
Daisy says she's not going to give the stews a rank. She prefers a team environment. They seemed really happy with that.
Yep.
And I think that's probably a good way to go.
Definitely, at least initially, makes sense.
Yeah, it's yes, it's a big boat, but it's small. So there's lots of cleaning and lots of getting to know each other. And then at 5 p.m, the preference sheet meeting rolls around.
Yeah, so who do we have, Lanes? You told me you knew these people.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Give me the background.
Dr. Contessa and Dr. Scott, I'll let you know that they were on Married to Medicine, a reality show.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I've watched seasons of it.
What's it about? Never seen it.
So they're married people on the show and they just follow their lives. It's like Real Housewives, except they're married couples and they're in medicine. So they show the, patients sometimes, and then they show their lives. They show the doctors with each other and all that sort of stuff. So they weren't on there for a long time. Interesting to see them together.
Why?
Well, do you want me to save it for the Patreon?
Save it for the Patreon.
I'll talk more about them on the flip side.
Great. So they are here because they're celebrating an anniversary with some other couples who are also celebrating their anniversaries. And they want a leather and lace party for their first night. And the ladies are requesting a local dance instructor to teach them sexy moves. These women do not look like they need to be taught sexy moves. I reckon they could all bust it on the dance floor.
Yeah, but they obviously just want to
do it on TV.
Yes.
There are 2 food preferences. One
allergy, one food preference.
Yes. So shellfish allergy, and what's the
doesn't like pork or beef.
Oh, okay.
Mona Lisa. We're lucky enough to have the Mona Lisa on board.
We do have the Mona Lisa on board. And the dude who has the shellfish allergy is actually Bobby Brown's nephew.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Anyway, in that meeting, Cloyce says, well, I just hope he lives.
Yeah, that landed flat.
Glenn
didn't it?
was not impressed.
I just looked at him.
So they've spent the day sort of cleaning and getting to know the boat, and at 7 o'clock they kind of knock off. Daisy just grabs a beer and she's up onto the deck, and Gary follows her.
I thought she asked him for a cigarette.
Oh, maybe she did and I missed it.
Yeah, I thought she said, do you want to have a cigarette?
Okay. Danny tells us already she has the hots for Keith. And she's stirring her drink with her finger and she wants him to lick it. Keith is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, I'm good. And then she says, well, you stir your drink and I'll lick your finger. Keith is uncomfortable.
My initial thoughts are she's going to really annoy me because she's so full on with the thirstiness that she's got.
She's thirsty.
We see the coming up once and she's a lot.
She is. All right. So Daisy and Gary face off on the upper deck. This was weird, Lanes, because I'm like, there's a whole lot of information here that we don't know what's happening. We get a few little snippets. So the gist of the conversation was when Daisy and Colin got together last season and Gary was a real dick about it and said, you're just with him to get back at me.
Were they together before?
Okay, crash course. Daisy and Gary hooked up between seasons and it got revealed in the reunion. So between season 3 and 4, they hooked up. In season 4, Colin and Daisy discovered they had a thing.
Okay.
And they started hooking up. And Gary was jealous about it and saying to Daisy, the only reason you're fucking Colin is because you want to make me jealous. And really, you want me. And Daisy was like, no, Gary, I want Colin. I'm with Colin.
And who would pick Gary over Colin?
Gary, a man scorned, he was. This whole her being annoyed with Gary now is because her and Colin broke up after the season. They tried, it didn't work. And she kind of tells us that she wanted to talk to Gary about it or about something. And Gary refused to pick up the phone, refused to answer her messages, just ghosted her. And she was saying all the shit that happened, whatever. But as a friend, I wanted you to pick up the phone and talk to me. She was in tears.
I found it really weird.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, there was a whole subtext there that we didn't get, because if it's Gary and he's already fucked you off in the last season,
why are you ringing him?
Why are you going to him when you've broken up with Colin?
Do you want to know what we talk about after each episode?
Well, come on over to the Patreon, because there you can get early ad-free episodes plus our bonus weekly wrap-up show.
We love our Patreon community. Click the link in the show notes and come and join us.
See you there.
You're not ringing someone who you've hooked up with who upset you in the last season to console you about your breakup with Colin.
If you're feeling lonely, which is what she said, and you weren't there, why wouldn't you be reaching out to your friends and your girlfriends and whatever to help you through the breakup?
Yeah.
We're missing something.
Hopefully we are, because otherwise that's fucked.
Yeah. Gary says, I was scared that I couldn't put words into words.
Yeah, the words into words is so tricky sometimes.
It's so tricky. That's Gary in a nutshell.
What word comes after this word? Word.
He says he was a shit friend and he says sorry, and Daisy's like, what else?
That's nonsensical to me.
It's all weird, but that needed to happen. Obviously, Daisy wanted to get that off her chest so that they could move forward. She also says, I appreciate the apology, but I know it won't be the last time he hurts me. And I'm like, so then why?
Yeah, exactly. And if someone doesn't do that, if someone's saying they're going to hurt me again, well, that's not a friend.
Exactly. I'm confused.
So it's 9 o'clock and all the crew are just having an evening beverage, and they talk about what they're excited for.
Partying and nervous about drama is basically it. And then they get right into fuck, marry, kill. I'm like, you don't even know these people.
No, but we tend to do that when we interview people, Carla.
Yeah, Yeah, but we give them like celebs.
It's
we
our
don't
go-to
give them,
game. Oh, the people they're sitting next to.
Yeah, we don't give them like that could for some people a bit confronting.
Yeah.
I'm in a new group of people in a new job and they're deciding if they're going to fuck, marry or kill me. Emma was not impressed.
No one wanted to fuck or marry her. Everyone was killing her.
Exactly. It was a bit brutal, I thought. Anyway, it's 11 o'clock and they all go to bed.
Well, Emma struggles.
She couldn't get on the top bunk.
She can't. She can't.
How's she gonna...
Imagine if she was on like their night out drunk and then she's got to get to bed. It's not like they had to do a switcheroo.
How's she going to pull the heaving lines if she can't climb the bunk?
Well, does she even know what a heaving line is?
I don't know, but we do. Just watch the show.
7:30 and it's the day of charter. They do their final checks and cleaning. Cloyce puts a tea towel over his eyes to cut an onion.
Lanes, I was like, wait, did I just see the chef chop an onion with a blindfold on?
Yeah.
What the actual fuck? Why?
Doesn't want to get teary. Onions make you cry.
I mean, it was fucking excellent, the cutting.
Yeah.
He just knows where the knuckle is, right?
I mean, he's that confident.
You follow the knuckle. He wanted that on TV. I'm like bashing my knuckle against my... He just wanted that on TV.
Do you reckon?
He's a show pony.
Yeah.
Loves it.
So now Daisy's back in the kitchen. She's in the kitchen a lot this episode with Cloyce. I think she's just trying to figure him out because they have to work closely together.
Yeah,
so I think she's like, how are we going to go? Are we going to be okay?
They need to be good. So she's sussing
marinating him.
Yeah.
So she's asking him how he's learned to cook. Here's where we get the resume.
Yeah. So mum and dad are still sleeping. So at age 4, he gets up and starts making his own breakfast. I mean, I think my 4-year-old could probably put cereal in a bowl, if that's what we're talking.
Yeah.
Or are we talking omelettes? And
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what are you making, Cloyce, at 4?
And was it someone today on social said, can you even fucking remember when you're 4?
I can't.
Who's got a memory of 4?
I don't remember yesterday.
Yeah, well, that's because we're 4 zeros now, but the 0 4s, people don't remember that shit. He tells us he was starting cooking competitions at 10, a culinary program in high school, restaurant job through high school, and French training at 15. Then Michelin star training, opened a catering business, now yachts.
It's exceptional.
He actually, from a bit of my deep diving today, is somewhat of a fucking genius. Like a child prodigy when it comes to cooking.
Well, when you look at what he says, like since 4, he's loved it. So what kid sticks with the same thing all their life?
No kid I know.
Only ones that are like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, you know?
Doogie
Howser. These exceptional kids that know what they want to do and are very good at it.
So it's looking like he's one of those. But time will tell.
But tonight, it didn't look like that.
Well, I've got my thoughts on it.
Okie
Okay. Daisy says he talks a big game and that makes her nervous. He better fucking deliver.
Yeah, it's like walk the talk.
Correct. In my head, I just had to think, was it talk the walk or walk the talk? You know me? Fuck. All right.
Where's Davida?
Daffodil.
Oh, I'm just going to call him Daffodil.
Call him Daffodil.
That reminded me of Dylan, old Dilsey.
Dilsey. Right. It's 5 minutes to guest arrival. Glenn does a wee bit of a walk around and everything looks great. He's happy.
Yep.
He's a happy, casual camper.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he seems pretty relaxed, doesn't he?
They greet the guests and Daisy does the tour.
How are the shoes?
Oh, my God.
Ugly is what they are.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the shoe lineup. You're talking about those big gold clunkers. How do you even wear them?
I don't know.
It's like a leg workout.
She's strong, Contessa. She is fit and she is strong.
Oh, she'd have to be to wear those honkers.
She's ex-Navy.
There you go.
So 2 of the guests didn't get the memo to wear white.
I didn't notice.
Everyone was in white but 2 of them.
Really? Which
Yep.
2? The primaries?
No, the primaries were in white. I don't know. I don't know their
You're
names.
so feisty. Not feisty. You're so like, fucked if I know. I don't fucking care. Did you watch it? I mean, didn't you see that? I mean, I saw two people not wearing white. Don't fucking ask me who they were. Get with the program, Carla.
It's a fucking sailing yacht. It's going to be a long season for you.
Yeah, I'm going to pop some fucking pep-ups in your wine next week.
Ooh.
It's 2 p.m. and they sail away off the dock. Smooth sailing so far for the deck crew. Good first undocking, I'd say.
Yeah.
No dramas. And Daisy checks with Cloyce about dinner being at 8. That is really hard to get off the tongue. Cloyce.
I know. But do you know what I did like about, I'm just going to say chef. I liked that he had prepared smoked salmon crostinis with dill sauce. I like that.
It was an elevated canapé.
Instead of a cheese board.
Yes. So far, tick.
Yeah.
Cloyce. And they loved it too. In this chat with Daisy, Cloyce is being proactive about the preferences, the food preferences.
Yep.
And he says, tonight's surf and turf, which is what they want. Can you check that the shellfish allergy person is happy to have snapper? And can you ask the non-beef eater if she'd like chicken? That's pretty simple and clear.
Yeah.
What does Daisy do?
They're all sitting together and she's asked Mona Lisa.
You love saying that, don't you?
Yep. If she would like the chicken instead of the beef. But then her and her partner pipe up. She's like, oh, no, we'll have lamb. We'd like lamb. She's like, oh, okay. And then Daisy says, well, chef is doing red snapper for you, and looks at shellfish guy. So then Contessa says, oh, that sounds good. I'll have the snapper as well as the lobster. And then everyone else gets on the snapper train.
And they're, yeah, and they're also at this point saying, and I'd like my steak cooked.
Oh, yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
She goes, I'm going to get a notebook.
At that point, she could have done a lot of different things. Don't you reckon?
What would you have done?
She could have said, I'll need to check with the chef if we've got lamb ready. Because what time is this, Lanes? Where's your fucking time checks?
They didn't do many.
Because if it's the afternoon and he's prepping dinner, she has every right to say.
Well, they got on at 1.
Yeah, she has every right to say the menu for tonight is surf and turf as requested, which is usually beef. You don't normally get lamb in a surf and turf.
No.
And so
or chicken.
I'll need to check with the chef if we have lamb. And then that could have struck out the whole lamb.
For the 2, yeah.
Yeah. She also could have taken the 2 aside individually.
That would have been my priority instead of saying it in front of everyone.
Right. This is a chief stew with 4 years on a plus. This is why I said I think it was a bit of a stitch up.
Oh.
Because he specifically said to her, this is what I'm making. Let's try not to have too many specific orders. And she said, yeah, we don't do that. And then she went up there and she totally did that. She
opened it up for
invited
everyone.
it. I know it's a super yacht and they're supposed to always say yes. But she had a couple of little things she could have tweaked there.
Yeah.
To make it easier for the 22-year-old chef on his first night.
Yeah, and so she takes all these orders and then says to chef, oh, that dinner's a bit of a fuck up.
It's turned into options and a la carte.
It's a bit of a whoopsie daisy.
And he just says, awesome.
I mean, he's pretty relaxed. I did have there in my head, I would have put everyone's individual order on their faces, but I think I see later that she has done that, but it hasn't worked. With something like that, you have to be down to the minutiae.
You do. But anyway, he also has an option there because she does say, look, I'm really sorry, is that feasible? And he says, anything's possible. So he could have also said, the lamb isn't feasible. Can you go back and tell them we don't have lamb?
He's not going to do that.
Not on the first day. She wanted to say yes to them. He wanted to say yes to them. So they both say yes.
Swimsuits are on. Guests are enjoying their drinks and the sales are coming up.
And what does that mean, Lanes?
It's pretty spectacular.
Stow, stow, stow.
Stow away.
So what that means, Lanes, is Glenn.
Is that what that's saying? Stow away. Yeah. Wow.
The pennies dropped. So Captain Glenn opens his big DJ booth.
Yes.
Up on the top. We've got to learn a whole new lingo for this boat, Lanes. With all the controls, and they release the sails. The back sail, it's not called a fucking back sail, but I'm just calling it the back sail. The main sail. And then do you know what that other sail's called, the last one?
Another sail.
Genoa.
Oh, Genoa?
Genoa.
Genoa what?
Genoa sail. And he turns off the engines and away they go. They are sailing.
It'd be pretty amazing.
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
And imagine being up to your eyeballs drunk, trying to walk on
That's
a boat
not
that's
amazing.
Healing? Sure, I heard Daisy say healing, but I Googled it because you can always trust Google. What does keeling mean on a boat?
Sailing boat.
Oh, wait. Capsizing. Okay, so maybe keeling is a little bit too far.
Yeah, it's not correct.
Healing is the word. I've just checked on Google, the knower of all things, and
So what is explain to me what healing is.
Healing is the inclination to the side that is normal within certain limits depending on the type of boat. So e.g. sailing boat or yacht, they heel like a dog. Keeling,
Unless you're my dog.
Keeling is when you heel to the point of capsizing.
You keel over.
Got it.
So Daisy's confirmed the dances. It's 4:00 in the afternoon now, and that's going to be at 10 o'clock tonight. So that's a late dance lesson. Gary's realised what we all have, that Emma is pretty green.
Yeah, because aren't they told to release the anchor and she's like, I can't do it?
She can't. I don't know what she can do. She's just like a deer in headlights.
He does say, like, it is a bit tight. Like, give it a heave-ho. Right, so Emma can't drop the anchor, so Gary does it. And he's like, yeah, she's a bit greener than I thought.
But he's going to be a good leader.
Oh, good leader.
And teach her because he wants to be a captain one day.
Yeah, one day, Gary. All right. Let's see how that goes for you. Let's see.
How many times? Okay, listeners, play a game. Every time this season, Carla says, let's see, take a shot.
Yeah. Hopefully you're still alive at the end.
So all crew into your blacks and they're getting the decor ready and Danny's having a bit of a joke with Keith about the whip.
She's flirting with him with the whip and Keith plays a bit now with Danny. He's over the fingering.
We're past Joe's last season.
Yeah. And he tells camera that he thinks Danny is hilarious and vibrant. But in a working environment, you just take things slowly. Keith seems like he's got his head screwed on.
Yeah, he's Aussie.
Danny then gets in front of camera and says that she wants to be picked up and thrown around like a fender. My first thought was, like a car fender.
No, love, the fender.
I got it. But first of all, I was like, like a Holden, a Holden Commodore with a beautiful, shiny fender. No, she's talking about the fucking boat fenders, isn't she?
Because you can't fling around that Holden.
You could try. I bet you the boat fender is just as heavy.
No, it's not.
Isn't it? They're massive.
Versus a car.
A car fender is just... Help.
I need somebody. Help.
Send help now.
It's 8:32. Guests are ready for dinner and Chef is going over the notes that Daisy...
Wait, it's so hot in here. I'm schwitzing. Hot.
So it's 8:32. Guests are ready for dinner.
Cloyce plates all the combinations for dinner and he's putting them out on the crew mess table. This is how small his galley is. He doesn't have enough bench space. They've got to sit in the crew mess table.
And Glenn sat there looking.
Glenn is just watching the food go cold because Cloyce realises he's missing one. And he's like, wait, did we not count properly? Daisy's like, no, there were 6. And he's like, fuck, what does he do?
Send all the food up and he's like, it'll be a minute or two.
Exactly. They take the plates up and Daisy says, the other plates will just be a few minutes. So Chef suggests that you start eating. Did Chef suggest they start eating?
No.
He was already had that lobster in the pan, fucking 2 minutes done.
Yeah.
Get that up there, get back down here, it'll be ready.
Yeah.
So they start eating. Oh, no, that's medium. I wanted medium, not well done. So straight away, she's back down there with a steak that needs to be completely recooked.
Yeah.
He says this is Daisy's fault because she took the fucking specific orders when I told her not to. Daisy's like, this is his fault. I gave him the order. It's his job to cook it. Glenn is fucking worried.
How are these two department heads going to work together?
Is this the only drama that they could come up with on the first episode to leave us on a cliffhanger?
Yes.
Will next episode we see Daisy running the perfectly cooked steak and the new lobster up 1 minute after the others left and the guests love it? Probably. Coming up on, there's a beach party, there's arguing with Daisy and Gary, and a fucking crash on the tender.
Dickhead.
Who was on that tender with him? Did you see? Was it a crew member?
Yeah.
Do you know who it was? Was it Danny?
No. It was a girl.
They're driving in the dark and he fucking crashes the tender.
Yep.
Now, we're going to have to wait until at least the end of the season to see that episode, I'm guessing.
Yes.
But that's it for this week and we will see you next week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Davide.
Well, he's Italian, isn't he?
Davide.
Keep going. He does say, it is a bit tight. Give it a give. Give it.
Some would say jiff.
Give it a jiff. Give it a heave-ho.
I'm a Jolly Rancher.
Now, Cloyce, every time I say that, it sounds so weird. Cloyce.
Don't say it too many times because cloice, because then things sound weird. You can say any word.
Cloister.
If you'd like to follow us on Insta, you can find us at theaftdeck.pod.
You can also send us an email on theaftdeckpod@gmail.com and you can listen to us on YouTube at The Aft Deck Pod.
Also, if you're loving our pod as much as we are loving doing it, give us a cheeky 5-star rating and review.
We'll love you forever.
Thanks, guys.